From the moment Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were born in June 1986 in Sherman Oaks, California, they were destined to live in the spotlight. They were not even a year old when their lives were changed forever. Cast in the role of Michelle Tanner on the hit sitcom Full House, the Olsen twins became household names before they could even walk. Their dual casting in the single role was a clever production trick to avoid child labor restrictions, but it quickly became a signature of their career. For the 8 years that Full House was on the air, the world watched Michelle Tanner grow up, and in turn, watched Mary-Kate and Ashley step into a global phenomenon. By the time the show wrapped in 1995, the twins weren't just television stars, they were an empire. What separated the Olsen twins from other child stars was the carefully constructed brand that grew around. In the 1990s, they became more than just actresses, they were a business. Through their company Dual Star Entertainment, which was formed when they were still pre-teens, Mary-Kate and Ashley churned out a staggering lineup of direct-to-video movies, television specials, and merchandise that made them some of the most marketable young celebrities in history. Titles like Billboard Dad, Passport to Paris, Our Lips Are Sealed, and Holiday in the Sun became sleepover staples for an entire generation of girls. At one point, their films were so popular that they were dubbed into multiple languages and released worldwide, making them international icons. Their fanbase was not limited to the United States, it spread across Europe, Asia, and beyond. With their names and faces plastered on magazines, VHS covers, dolls, clothing lines, and even lunchboxes, the Olsen twins turned themselves into a billion-dollar brand by the early 2000s. In fact, by the time they were teenagers, they were named the youngest self-made millionaires in America. It's hard to overstate the level of obsession surrounding them at their peak. They were everywhere: TV screens, department stores, even scholastic book fairs. They had video games, fan clubs, and a seemingly endless line of merchandise that turned the Olsen image into a commercial juggernaut. Young fans idolized them not just as actresses but as fashion icons and aspirational figures, representing an almost fairy tale version of teenage life filled with glamorous adventures and sibling mischief. But this massive success came with its share of pressure. The twins grew up in the public eye, and unlike other child stars who might step away after their initial success, the Olsens were managing an empire before they were even old enough to drive. As they entered their teenage years, the tension between being individuals and being part of a brand became more pronounced. They were marketed as interchangeable, a single entity packaged in two bodies, which left little room for individuality or personal growth. This pressure was compounded by relentless media scrutiny. By the early 2000s, tabloids were already speculating about their weight, their social lives, and their struggles with the harsh reality of fame. In 2004, they made the leap to the big screen with New York Minute, their first and only major theatrical release as leading stars. The film was heavily marketed, billed as their transition into adult stardom, but it flopped at the box office and was panned by critics. The disappointment of New York Minute marked a turning point. After years of success in direct-to-video productions, the twins had hoped to break into mainstream Hollywood, but the film's failure reinforced the idea that their era as child stars was ending. Around this time, the Olsens announced that they would be stepping back from acting to pursue other ventures, signaling a dramatic shift in their careers. Their college years at New York University represented a period of retreat and reinvention. While paparazzi followed their every move, Mary-Kate and Ashley began distancing themselves from their child star image. They dabbled in fashion during these years, not as a hobby but as a serious pursuit. By 2006, they had founded their luxury fashion label The Row, named after Savile Row in London, known for bespoke tailoring. This move was surprising to many. After all, child stars turning into designers often seemed like vanity projects. But Mary-Kate and Ashley approached fashion with precision, discipline, and seriousness. They weren't interested in designing flashy pieces under their own names for quick sales. Instead, they focused on craftsmanship, quality fabrics, and minimalist aesthetics. They sought to be taken seriously within an industry that often dismissed celebrity designers as gimmicks. Their gamble paid off. Over the next decade, The Row grew into one of the most respected luxury brands in the world. Known for its understated elegance and timeless designs, it appealed to an elite clientele who appreciated the Olsen twins' commitment to quality. Industry insiders were stunned by how quickly Mary-Kate and Ashley transformed themselves from pop culture icons into legitimate fashion powerhouses. Alongside The Row, they also launched the more affordable line Elizabeth and James, named after their siblings, which offered more accessible fashion while still carrying the Olsen aesthetic. These ventures proved that the twins weren't relying on their fame, they were building something entirely new. Their pivot to fashion was also a personal refuge. After years of being hounded by the media, the fashion industry gave them a space where they could redefine themselves on their own terms. Unlike Hollywood, which thrived on publicity, fashion allowed them to remain private, elusive, and mysterious. Mary-Kate and Ashley rarely gave interviews, avoided red carpets, and kept their personal lives fiercely guarded. Their decision to step out of the acting world was not just a career move but also a survival strategy. The scrutiny that had followed them since childhood was suffocating, and fashion provided a world where they could control the narrative. Still, the transition wasn't entirely smooth. Mary-Kate struggled with highly publicized health issues, including an eating disorder that made her the target of relentless tabloid headlines in the mid-2000s. The twins' reputation was constantly under attack, as paparazzi captured unflattering images and gossip magazines speculated about their lifestyle choices. Yet through it all, they stayed committed to their vision. They refused to re-enter Hollywood, declined offers for TV appearances, and rejected reunion projects that would have capitalized on nostalgia. Even when Netflix revived Full House with Fuller House, the twins declined to participate, choosing instead to focus on their fashion empire. By the 2010s, their dedication began to pay off in ways that silenced critics. The Row earned widespread acclaim from the fashion world, winning multiple Council of Fashion Designers of America (CFDA) awards, including the prestigious Womenswear Designer of the Year award. This recognition cemented the Olsens as serious players in an industry that often resists celebrity influence. Their success wasn't built on their fame but on their ability to create designs that spoke for themselves. Their collections were praised for their sophistication, attention to detail, and luxurious simplicity, embodying a design philosophy that was the complete opposite of the flashy, tabloid-driven image that once defined them. Today, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen stand as a rare example of child stars who not only survived the chaos of early fame but reinvented themselves completely. They transformed from the faces of a billion-dollar tween empire into respected figures in high fashion, building a brand that is known for its discretion as much as its luxury. Unlike many of their peers, they didn't chase the spotlight or attempt to revive their acting careers. Instead, they deliberately stepped away, choosing to let their work speak for itself. Their story is not one of clinging to fame but of redefining success on their own terms. Their enduring appeal lies in the mystery they've cultivated. While many celebrities today rely on social media to stay relevant, the Olsens have chosen silence. They rarely appear on Instagram, they avoid interviews, and they've mastered the art of staying out of the public eye. This absence has only made them more intriguing. In an age of overexposure, their decision to remain private feels radical. They've built an identity that doesn't depend on constant visibility but instead thrives on scarcity and exclusivity. Looking back, the Olsen Twins story is almost unprecedented. Few child stars manage to escape the pitfalls of early fame. Many struggle with identity crises, public meltdowns, or careers that stall out entirely. But Mary-Kate and Ashley managed to pivot in a way that not only preserved their relevance but elevated it. They turned their backs on the very industry that made them famous and carved out a new legacy as businesswomen, designers, and cultural figures who proved that reinvention is possible. The journey of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen is more than just the tale of two former child stars. It's a story about resilience, vision, and the courage to walk away from the expectations of the world. From their days as Michelle Tanner to their reign as tween moguls, and now as fashion titans, they have shown that success isn't about clinging to the past but about daring to create a new future. For fans who grew up watching them on screen, the Olsens represent more than nostalgia, they are proof that you can outgrow your beginnings and still find greatness. Their legacy is not just in the movies they made or the merchandise they sold, but in the empire they quietly built and the example they set for how to survive fame and transform it into something entirely your own.